Well, hello there, my friends. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that's been making headlines for a while: quantitative easing. Thanks for learning with us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Central banks may implement quantitative easing during economic downturns or periods of low growth to boost economic activity and stimulate demand. By increasing the money supply and reducing borrowing costs, quantitative easing can encourage businesses to invest and consumers to spend, which can lead to increased economic activity and job creation. Now, I understand that when the economy is facing a slowdown, people start looking for ways to boost demand. And I get it, increasing money supply can seem like an easy solution. But let's not be fooled by the fancy name. Quantitative easing is just printing money. And while it may provide a short-term boost to the economy, it's not a sustainable solution. You see, when the central bank increases the money supply, it reduces interest rates and makes it easier for businesses and consumers to borrow and spend. But it also leads to inflation, which reduces the purchasing power of people's money and can create long-term economic instability. Inflation is a sneaky little creature that can erode the value of your savings. And it's not just individuals who suffer. Inflation can also make it harder for businesses to plan and invest for the future. In my opinion, the best way to support economic growth is to promote a stable monetary environment and create the conditions for a free market to thrive. This means keeping inflation under control and allowing the market to allocate resources in an efficient and effective way. Now, I'm just a neophyte economist with some opinions. But I believe that in the long run, sustainable economic growth can only be achieved through responsible monetary policy and a commitment to free markets.
And why the detractors of quantitative easing say that it increases the taxes?
Quantitative easing does not directly increase taxes. However, it certainly has indirect effects leading to an increase in taxes. One indirect effect of QE is that it can lead to inflation, reflected in an increase in the general price level of goods and services over time. In an inflationary environment, value of money declines, and people's purchasing power decreases. To combat inflation, central banks may raise interest rates, which can make it more expensive for governments to borrow money. This can result in higher taxes, as the government seeks to balance its budget and repay its debt. Another indirect effect of QE is that it can increase government spending. When the central bank buys government bonds, it provides the government with additional funds that it can use to finance its operations and stimulate economic growth. However, if the government continues to run budget deficits, it will eventually have to repay the debt through higher taxes to maintain its expenses. So, while QE does not directly increase taxes, it can create conditions that make it more likely that taxes will increase in the future. These conditions include inflation, higher interest rates, and increased government spending, which can put pressure on government finances and make it necessary to raise taxes to balance the budget.
Clear. And why is it said that quantitative easing is a taxation without representation?
The idea that QE is a form of taxation without representation refers to the fact that the central bank's actions, which result in the dilution of existing money, impacts the wealth and income of individuals and institutions, without their explicit consent. In a democratic system, taxes are typically imposed through a legislative process, where elected representatives debate and vote on tax policies that affect the public. However, with QE, the central bank is able to unilaterally make decisions that have a similar effect to a tax, without any direct input from the public or their elected representatives. This lack of representation in the decision-making process of QE is what some people refer to as taxation without representation. The argument is that the central bank's actions impact the distribution of wealth and the purchasing power of money, which are both important public policy issues, yet the public has no direct say in how these actions are carried out. It's worth noting that central banks, supposedly independent institutions with policies designed to achieve macroeconomic goals such as maintaining price stability and supporting full employment. Nevertheless, Perception that QE represents a form of taxation without representation has led to concerns about accountability and the distributional effects of central banks' policies. That's it for today, folks. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, take care.